All right, we are live. So let's go ahead and get into some updating like we've been doing all week. It seems to have been working, doing the trade view live, so no reason to stop it now, right? So let's zoom out to the monthly, give us a nice wide perspective here to start the day. My goodness, look at all these crazy lines here. Please. All right. So you can see we're firmly within yesterday's last month's range, coming right back probably to about the 50% mark. So if we were to take this low here, give it a little Fibonacci love to the high of this month, we're almost, yeah, almost right at about that halfway point. That halfway point, 37.15, 36.64 would be that, golden pocket or whatever they call it. I think that's past the point though. But we're about 50% retracement of the previous month's range. All right. We're still, still opened up to this upper side, so we're still watching this excess. That 39.22 seems to be holding as a pretty solid resistance still. We had kind of seen that interaction. That's kind of the level that we had identified, and so far we're still seeing it. A lot of times, and we kind of talked about this previous months. When you get the market balancing, and then another balance forms that overlaps, a lot of times you get this kind of blow off look, right? So now the market moved down, so it kind of blew off the excess inventory that was in here, blew it off here, and now we're kind of balancing once again. Okay, so if there is an auction lower and there's no break of this low, we've got that 35.56, the 50 moving average on the monthly chart. If there's no break of that and the market continues to balance, we can expect another test of this trend line down the road. We've kind of seen 1 month move down, then a 3 month balance, test of the trend, month moves down, 3 month balance, test of a trend, move down, 1, 2. Are we in store for another month of balance in December with a test of trend? That Santa rally that everyone is praying for. We will see. So far on a monthly level, we're definitely in a downtrend from the high and balancing. On a weekly basis, we can see that we had a cessation of one time framing yesterday. We had this nice one time framing up off the 200 moving average. And now that 36.15 is really not that far away, about 100 points. We saw the market move just, absolutely crazy yesterday off that FOMC talk. Still holding below this resistance. We can see, a little bit easier on the weekly just how long it's been holding. This is back February 2022, little resistance, or February 2021, excuse me. Resistance finally broke, held as support. You can see how we have our kind of levels marked, longer term levels. And then yesterday, just right up to that 20 moving average, which is what this is, 20 moving average on the weekly. And it actually happens to be the 100 moving average on the daily. They're basically like right in the same spot, and then just fucking puked it off of there. So, but overall, maintaining a little bit of perspective on the weekly, we are balancing, right? We want to always try to maintain perspective. You've got this kind of ugly balance down here with excess on both sides of the balance. Market moves up, and then we're still in a balance. So as the market is moving back into this previous balance, we're really looking for acceptance below that 3,800. I mean, even a bit closer to this high here, we'll say 37.50, 37.65 really. Acceptance below that 37.65 would be acceptance back into this balance range, and we can almost expect the market to come back down that 36.15. Not too far away now, like about 115 points. So definitely be some levels that you want to have written down or at least visible to you somewhere. We're now one time framing down, 1, 2, 3. You can see this is that 100 that I was talking about. We came right down to the 20 moving average overnight, so no surprise there. That's the reason that I added it on there, because I kind of, I heard Peter Rezenchek talk about that 20 moving average and was like, well, that's probably the target. He's probably right. And added it to the chart, and then overnight they just kind of puked it down there. Zoe, good morning. Peter, good morning. Roach, good morning. Lecker, good morning. Dad, good morning. All Stars, good morning. Good trade overnight for you. I like it. And so on the daily, right, we're kind of re-entering this lower balance. You kind of just see a little sloppy mess, but you can kind of see some support in here if you're, if you're using a funky looking glass here. Right, you can kind of see that resistance, kind of a back test of that, pops above, gets rejected, finds that support, gets rejected in here. So this kind of area right here, it seems to me that the market is, kind of attracted to this area here, and looking for maybe a retest. If there's failure to get acceptance inside this range, I think that the market turns up. Acceptance inside this range would bring us back lower. There's really nothing, we just have to pay attention and kind of see what happens here. But so far, that seller still sitting there. Overnight, let's go ahead and jump over so we can update these levels. The settle was 37.68. 75. And the last was 37.68 quarter, so we won't worry about it. Half back from yesterday was 650. We've got our 50 at 38.24. And we've got our 37.40, which is the 20. Okay. So I mean, yesterday we were all on, right? We saw kind of what happened. We saw, basically really tight profile. The meeting popped open, and the market basically shot up, came back down, then shot all the way up, touching up at about, 39.07 half, just about. I think was the high yesterday. Was the high yesterday? 39.07 was the high. 39.07 flat was the high yesterday. So popped up, touched that 39.07 high. Powell got on the press conference and started talking about how, you know, basically people were misinterpreting what he's been saying, which he's been kind of saying the whole time. Market didn't like it. The government was really trying to price in the pivot. They were pushing that pivot narrative, and Powell was having none of that yesterday, so the market ended up puking. Got a little bit of a rally at that 50 SMA, a lot of buyers, and then we get that liquidation. Now we see these single prints above, ending the day on a spike lower. So spike rules will be in play. We also have gap rules in play, as the market's going to be opening down on about a 30-point gap, 38-point gap here. We know that gaps of 20 handles or more in the S&P 500, if you are a newer trader, there's, decent odds there's going to be some high quality volatility, and you might want to just sit out for a little bit. Don't force anything early. You don't want to get caught, with your trades in the wrong side of the market. So we'll go ahead and call overnight inventory pretty much 100% net short. I mean, there's a little bit of long inventory, but we're going to be opening up on that gap, so we're going to go ahead and call it 100% net short. There is some opportunity, right? Because you have to assume that the market, because the volume yesterday, pull up the volume. Um, the volume yesterday was elevated, but not by much, right? A mere 400,000 on a day like yesterday. You'd expect a serious volume increase. You'd expect, no advances. We still had 709 stocks that went up in the NYSE. The world is in shit pants. um, you can see the Nasdaq is really where the punishment was lying. Right, here's the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq is really where the punishment was lying. About a million extra volume there, and you just got hammered down a little bit. And that's been kind of the theme of the week, or the theme of the month so far. Well, I guess the week, yeah, and the month, where the Nasdaq is just not as strong as the ES or the Dow or the Russell, right? Even the Russell yesterday didn't shit the bed as hard as some of these other ones. It is, doing worse overnight here, but it definitely has been the theme. A lot of money coming out of tech, telling us a lot of risk off situation. Like I said, gap rules are going to be in play. Um, but we'll see. First rule of business, or first order of business on the gap is the gap going to fill? Any gap that doesn't fill, right? Gap rules tell us that we want to go with the gap. That would be to the short side. Um, like I said, without that huge increase of volume yesterday, there is a big possibility of short covering, and so you've got to be extremely careful. If the market gets back in this spike, not necessarily, I'm not necessarily going to be treating it and really like up here in this spike base. If the market ends up rallying that much, and we're talking about 70 points here, which is not off the table. The VIX is at 26. Okay, so that's definitely not off the table. Um, there could be a huge short covering rally underway. Even if the market just gets back inside yesterday's range, I think there could be a lot of short covering. Um, and so we've got to be careful for that. First level to watch up is the single prints from the Globex session. Um, but we definitely want to be short bias, as long as we can stay outside of yesterday's range. If we get inside yesterday's range, then shit starts to change a little bit. We've got to be a little bit more careful. But as long as we stay outside of yesterday's range, obviously we want to stay short. If we zoom out here, you can kind of see, what do we got? Oh, we got time. Um, you can kind of see what we're working with here, this previous balance, kind of bot impulse. So, I don't really see a ton of support down in here. We fixed that VPOC. There's one more VPOC all the way down that 3,700. That would really kind of fix structure. If we get a nice reaction off of that. If not, it starts to get starts to get ugly down there. And we can really see some movement. But typically the market takes the stairs up and the elevator down, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. I'm just very cautious today about possibly the market may have gotten a little bit too short yesterday, and there may be a reaction off of that, and that I'm just going to be very cautious of today. Taking a peek around the block here, We can see the dollar back up above that 112. This alert will probably go off overnight. We'll just go ahead and close it. Um, you know, moved down yesterday, and then that just huge rally, and then rally overnight. So the dollar is looking back strong. Powell had said yesterday, some countries aren't able to handle a strong dollar, and he basically said, you know, not my job, not my problem. Fuck, too bad. So that was great. There was some really good opportunities trading yesterday. We got really lucky yesterday with how the market traded, and it was kind of fun. The Australian dollar, right, of course, getting punished. The euro, just yesterday was like, ooh, I'm above $1, and then Powell was like, right, smacked it back down. Bitcoin, right, took a fat beating yesterday. It was kind of all over the place, really kind of ugly. Oil didn't really do much, still trading inside of yesterday's range. Apple opening up on a gap lower, AMD opening up on a gap lower, Amazon opening up inside yesterday's range. Amazon, right, still below that $100 mark, but people start to see value in Amazon as it's kind of like on sale. Google going to be opening up really close to that gap lower. Meta, punished again, but opening up right at the lows of yesterday's range. Microsoft, kind of the same thing, got punished. Netflix, big move down from Netflix yesterday. They were just at 300 like 2 days ago. Now they're about 269. Nvidia looking weaker than AMD. It's been looking stronger. Right now they shit the bed. We've got Tesla, right, looking nice and weak. Hopefully Tesla can start to get underneath that $200 mark before Friday. We got the TNX gapping up once again, right? Got above that 40 level yesterday, and then boom, big gap up today. Not great for the market. And then the VIX really unchanged for the most part. Not too much. I think yesterday was a lot of margin call selling and a lot of retail selling. That's why I think possibly the market may have been getting a little bit too short yesterday, and we'll just have to mention it today, won't we? Um, but other than that, that is pretty much it.
Except for ETH.
Oh, ETH. Let me look at ETH. Go ahead and play this real quick. All right. So now we're motivated. We can really start the day off here. So ETH, I mean ETH, not as bad as the rest of the market. Came back down, right to that 1506. This is a level that we had talked about. It's that virgin point of control, and since kind of bounced, still maintaining this downtrend, and just doesn't look as weak as you would think. Still kind of remaining in this balance. Got a good reaction off that point of control, so I kind of expect buyers to step up today. Definitely be watching kind of a tight trend, making higher lows off the low. Really will be sympathetic with the market today. And people, Thomas, good morning. And maybe people just haven't uh, fully given up on ETH yet. So there still is that possibility that people start to dump risk if um that's that fucking dog next door. Um if the market continues to puke today, which is definitely possible, look for crypto to really take a beating. Yeah, my neighbor's got two Saint Bernards and a Rottweiler, and he just fucking leaves them in like on his deck all day. I feel bad for the dogs. They're giant dogs, and they got like a fucking 10 by 10 area to get around. All right, market's open. Let's see what we get. Immediate press lower right off the open. Failure to break that Globex low is going to be a bit of weakness there, but there's a big bid sitting down at the 736. Market looks like it wants. Yeah, they're beautiful dogs. Big teddy bears. A weak low off the rip. There it goes. Wants to get to that 25. That's where all the money's at, the 25. There it goes. Tags it. Look at all the orders just trading on the low. 1500, 1600, 1800, 2000, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26. My goodness, so many orders just trading there. Almost 3,000 orders traded on the low there. AMD's jumping up a bit. Back down to the low. 3,334 orders. 3,700. 38, 39. 4,000. 42. 43. Only P count so far this morning, 0 and 74. 5,000. There they go. Finally breaks the low. Watch the impulse at 25.25. Look at the breath. 6.8, 2 and 3/4. Energy's green, utilities green, materials green. A little bit of short covering there on the low. Watch this 25 level. They're back above all those orders now. They get us below yesterday's low and just trade is just so many orders. 10,000 orders right off the rip. Big bid stepping up to 32. Yeah, watch one more test of the 25. That could be the ticket there. See if these buyers are really that strong. I mean, that's just a lot of inventory just getting trapped short early. You know? Just short covering. Oh, the bounce? Yeah. I mean, you'll see, if they can motivate the buyers, right? This big buy order that came in that just kind of absorbed on the 25 for a while and then let it break and then popped right above it. Um, you'll kind of see, have they convinced these shorter time frame traders here when we pop this 25 here? That's kind of going to be. If he's getting a P count. So no retest of that 25, I don't think. The buyers step up here. Sellers are trying to offer 27 half. Actually seeing some decent size trading today. Cool. 25 here. Sellers just trying that 29. They can't get it. Tick is still climbing here, but still, still pretty low. Little reaction there off the 50 SMA. Breath is, basically cut in half here. Above the open, we could really see this thing start to move up. Probably. There's the open. Remember, we've got that 20 daily right there. Sellers keep getting stuck. Got stuck on 27 when they failed to hit 25. They got stuck again on 29, 30. Big bid step up. The bot got into a put. Watch the 30 level. If they can't get below the 30 level, they're just getting themselves stuck again. Mechanical buying on the open. A little bit of profit taking up here at the 35 from buyers. Pretty tight range early to start us off though. Back above that 50 here. EWAP's all the way up 37.80, 37.48, excuse me. Up there. Starting to see stops line up. This is what I was talking about. I think that sellers might be a little bit too short here, and you could see a strong short covering rally. Look at the breadth really kind of flipping around here. Weighted ADs going strong. Information tech barely down. Healthcare barely down. Communications barely down. Study back to 2 ticks. NASDAQ not looking as strong, but still, still looking pretty decent here. Look at that tick just trying to climb above zero. Positive tick kind of lets us know there might be an opportunity to check this fade out. Opportunity to close the gap. Failure to get above that zero tick could show a little bit of weakness here, but positive tick could really bring out a perfect. Sellers trying here the 35 again. They're getting kind of stuck. Trying it again. Nasdaq's looking a little bit weaker than the ES here. Tesla's the only call counts today. All right, they were able to recapture that 35. Look for the open. There's the open. There's the liquidation. Right back to that 25 level there. So NASDAQ kind of leading the path on that downside there. Yeah, watch your whiskers. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if NQ dumps. Yep, it did. Yeah, NQ's kind of leading the charge to the downside there. Breath picking up, weighted AD flips over. Look at healthcare or tech. I mean, really picking up to the downside, back below that 25 here. We're short covering. They need to hold this below this 25. If this thing pops to 25, we're probably going back all the way to the high. These sellers really got to show some conviction, and they're just fucking not. Fuckers. That caught a little bit of a bid off the low, but just short covering. So watch this 20 level here. But we've got some shorts, that aggressive shorts that tried to get in below the low that got kind of stuck down there. Or right back at the 25. Watching that tick heavy right now, guys. Yeah, exactly. Don't get sucked in by the volatility. That's why I'm trying to talk less this morning. I don't want to try to lure you guys in or think you're missing out or anything. I'm literally just sitting here staring at that tick, just waiting for it to get above zero. Right? Now, if there's no pop above zero, then there's no reason to get long. You know what I mean? Got a little short covering rally, great. Selling right up to 20 SMA, great. Sellers are weak down here, great. Right? We've got a little bit of market generated information. Our breadth is still pretty weak compared to what it was. Nasdaq's really kind of leading the charge to the downside. Not getting as much information as I'd like just to. Isn't too much. TNX is up 41. Dollar's coming down a little bit. Back below that 112. AMD's breaking up higher. Nasdaq caught a nice little bounce here. Nasdaq's kind of leading the way up now. Positive tick above 25 and a weighted AD that flips green. Opportunity. So then gap rules are still followed, right? Go with any gap that doesn't fill. Watch this 20 level. That's where that short covering was at last time. We've got that VPOC down at 3702. Yeah, lots of fighting on this level. Seller moves down right here on the Breath starting to pick up. Tick trying to get back below 1,000. We're 20 minutes in. Everyone hated how slow the market was yesterday. How do we feel about today? And remember, if this volatility is just too much for you, there's no shame just not trading. Right? You can just sit out and observe. You can gain just as much, if not more, information by observation than execution. They're two different skills for sure. But they're both just easily as important, in my opinion. Breath is picking up. Tick back below that 1,000. Sellers want to hold this below the 18 now, below the 21, let's say, because that's where they came in at 20. Short covering on that low. Oh, look how there's no upticks here. Kind of see these like single prints here on the profile, right from about uh 17 to 20, 17 to 19, basically, where that weak spot on the volume profile is at. Buyers got stuck right there. They tried that 14, 15 level. They got stuck. 109 contracts straight on the low. The IT sector's down about 1.1 right now. Look at the breath picking up here. Nothing really should be screaming to you to get long here. You know what I mean? Like, and I know it's probably on your mind. Ah, fuck, when's this rally? I want to time it, right? But it's not worth it. See our first little half pipe forming. You can see this is where I was talking about these single prints that are here. That BPOX. Nasdaq still getting punished here. AMD is losing. Oops. Spoke too soon. Now that we're back below that 25, that's going to become kind of our flip zone. If the market rallies above the 25 and starts to rotate inside Globex range, we can expect probably some upside until then. The downside is the right side. And you can see the breath cooling a little bit here. All right, we got about 3.5, and now we're about 2.9. Weighted AD still coming down. Tick still, solely below zero. Making lower highs. Weighted AD, tech, picking up steam. You've got 60% of the S&P 500 in the red here, with some big movers down. Tech being the biggest, 26% down 1.28. News coming top of the hour. What do we got here at 9? We have that, manufacturing PMI, ISM non-manufacturing PMI. And then in about 17 minutes, 17 minutes, the Bank of England is on. Bank of England Governor Bailey speaks, and England raised their interest rates, the biggest raise since, or for the past 30 years, basically, in the past 30 years. So it'll be interesting. We'll try to see, try to find them on YouTube and see if we can listen in. Let's see if they say anything. Yeah, nothing on the long side to do for now. That's for fucking sure. Best thing you can do is just stay for the time. The time. Look, you can see a seller moving down here, right? So we got selling. We liquidated the longs from up here. Selling came in, and then more selling came in here, right? A lot of times this looks like short covering, but we didn't get any upticks. The market just stayed here. So there's a seller here. Okay, so if the seller gives way, expect the top of this range to get tested. That's where offers should come in. They should do backing and filling. If there's no backing and filling, then might have to find them up higher. But right now, you're just seeing sellers moving in lower, still moving in lower. They've got these longs trapped right here, and they're looking for them to liquidate. We've got that VPOC right there, 3702, and that's kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. Ticks back below 1,000. D period opens up. Yeah, look at that. They just ripped it up. All those shorts right off the bat. Let's see the news. ISM manufacturing is lower, 54.4. So all the numbers looking red today. Market kind of likes that. Bad news is good news situation. We tested that top right there, and this is where I'm saying the backing and filling needs to come in. So these are sellers came back, they offered it, there they go. Seller's still firmly in control there. Little short covering pop. They got a second chance to reoffer it, and here they go doing some more work. Watch the tick here. Still offering here. This 14 level. Hold this 14 level and get above 18. You might see some short covering back up to that 25. They held the 14. Watch the 18. Okay, 18 smacks an offer. Watch the tick here close. 23 is the 50. Watch this 18 level. No offer on the 18 probably takes us above the B high. B high's mechanical right off the half back of the profile. Right off the A half back, really. Back down to the 15. The 18 again. No offer here. Could catch a pop, so be careful. Right back to the 25. Shock. Nasdaq not as strong as the yes here. That B high's mechanical ish. That's the previous day's low. We finally got that positive tick. Watch the 15 on this auction back lower. Buyers don't step up on the 15. They do. That big order stepping up on the 17 here. They couldn't even get it. Not enough supply here. This thing might keep going. Watch the tick. Above 25, you'll look for that 20 SMA to get tested again. Tick's positive. Starting to get green here. There's the 25. The bid's not chasing though. There's a bid, but it's not really chasing price. It's not really moving up. It's just being patient. Sellers could have just Shellers could have just got too short there. D high still mechanical. '25 with the positive, above 25 with the positive tick really puts pressure on shorts here. VWAP's 37.39. Right below that 20. Market's just waiting on tech. That's all it's doing right now. If tech goes green or tech starts to show some signs of life, which it's not right now, um, you thought we were staying short today? Well, yeah, you could stay short until we get yesterday's range. There's been, I mean, all these rallies have been faded constantly. I'm just saying, if we get above 25 with a positive tick, that'll show that there's some actual buying pressure and not just short covering, and could cause a rally. So like, you don't want to. That's not, just not a good spot to be getting short. I have taken longs today though. Took one from 1475 to 1850, 1975 to 20. One long, three. So trade on. And you could see every rally is just getting kind of faded here. It's just I have kind of I just am very cautious of that short covering rally, and like the selling is just kind of weak. Starting to see the breath pick up a little bit here, but we're not making any down ticks. Couple. This could just be a little bit of backing and filling here. Market got a little bit too short, rallied high, but don't trust it. We're back to the 17. This is where that bid was at. Got it. It refills. Market push. Lower highs on tech. Yeah, but tech's coming up. Tech's almost back up to its view up here. Basically, I don't want to be in a trade in between 17 and 25. This is kind of no man's land here. Below 17, I think we could start to get some pressure and start to target those lows. Above 25, if the tick starts to agree with us, positive tick, there's opportunity for some short covering and to catch a piece of that.
Tech is getting closer.
Yeah, it's almost back to its view up. Watch this 25 level here. Watch the tick. Tick's about to go green. There we go. Tick is popping up. If ticket's above 600, probably take the high. The 20 SMA is right at the VWAP as well. If we could grab a nice short from VWAP area. I don't know. Now that the market's back inside the Globex range, if we start to rotate and don't get back below that 25, it becomes like almost impossible for me to get short. Not impossible, but like it just makes me very nervous. Like of if any position that I get in short, if I if I stay in it, um, if it doesn't work like right away, then I don't want to be a part of it. You're just seeing everything flipping over. Look at tech. So it's not like we're just rallying shorts here. There's actual buying in this.
Yeah, crypto just started to rip up.
Yeah. And I was just, I wrote down yesterday and this morning, be careful for short covering. Don't get caught in a short covering rally. I had to remind myself like 1,000 times, like this morning while I was driving my kids to school, because like I just very nervous about it. Like a look below and fail. I mean, kind of, but like it that weak volume. Like if we look at the daily chart here, um, fucking daily chart at, you know, and I mean you got decent volume in the futures here, but not anything like this is a 20 moving average that I have on here, or this is the open interest line, but um, you know, if you look at the times that it breaks, like look how big this range is here, right? It's about the same as this. The volume is muted, moved down, kind of just because it was a double day. It went up and then went down. I want to see like capitulation, which is like where we made that low, right? Big reverse the next day, big volume, up volume's weak, right? And then we just kind of putter out, and then we get this big update on big volume. Yesterday's volume was just so fucking weak that it just makes me think like, just it doesn't make me think like that we're just gonna go up, right? I'm not just I'm not gonna just not pay attention to what's happening on the chart, but it just makes me very cautious of any trade that doesn't work. Like if I'm getting short here inside the Globex range, I want to get in and I want it to go my way right away, or I want to be out. Selling right off that same spot 35. Market trading right in between our two zones here too. Yeah, you got AMD green, Nvidia green, Tesla's green. Everything's red. Apple really a big driver here. 3.26% down. Morning, Tommy. And that's going to be kind of the key here as well. Back to 25 here. Watch Apple. A lot of negative delta coming in there as well, it looks like.
Hey,
From
Brad, I was thinking, correct me if I'm wrong. I was thinking that a lot of times I see you, like, especially when the breath is negative, if we get like a really high positive tick, a lot of times like that's your short entry because you like think it won't last kind of thing. I don't know all the scenarios you play that in or whatever, but I just feel like a lot of times, like if you're going long, you'll wait for like a big, like negative 1,000 tick, and then you're getting in kind of thing. Like, does that make sense?
to get like the oversold look, yeah. That would be like if we get a positive 1,000 tick when the market's not making a high, then yeah, that would be kind of that
Got you.
things articulating trades and fair trade. Bought in another 3 candle buy.
Yeah. So far, it's I guess as long as this doesn't turn into a trend day and it actually has a curve on it and comes back down to a reasonable level. Although I guess it probably would try and stay in yesterday's value, wouldn't it?
Say that again?
Wouldn't it? So if as long as this thing doesn't have like a complete trajectory where it just like goes off to the moon, well, that's a trend day, right? That's the term.
Yeah, if it starts to just go in one direction.
So as long as it's not a trend day and it actually comes back down, and I think the bot may do okay today. I don't know if it'll actually get back to profit, but it may not be as bad as it is.
It's in a put, right?
Yeah, it's an input. I got an input early just because based on the information. Counts so far have never shown anything for the upside per se. I mean, it's been far more strong to the downside, but at the same time, I mean, no guarantees. It's only a sampling. You can't do that many tickers. But I guess we'll see. AMD started with I think it opened the day in green, if I remember correctly. It was just barely in green, but it was in green. Oh, maybe
I
not.
kind of
No,
think
it
we're going to
started in
close the
red.
gap. I
Say that again.
kind of think we're going to close the gap to the upside. Market just doesn't look weak.
It's going to keep going up.
Kind of looks like it.
Hmm.
I mean,
Well,
it's
then
really
that
hard
may
to tell.
be.
It's still super early. I mean, we're still obviously pretty far away from that, but it
Well,
seems like
AMD just popped through the V low, so that may be the case. I may be taking a hit today.
a break of this 35 probably takes us above the VWAP. Probably takes us to honestly, probably to these single prints. 56. I have still offers on the 35. Remember the breath when we opened up was like 3.5. So it's still a negative breath, but it's not as negative as it was when it opened up, or right at the open. But there is some buyers looking like they want to get out here as well. Hope they're I mean, it's hard to fucking tell right now. Like if these bids are new money trying to buy or if they're just trying to get out because they're really jumping close to price now. You wonder if they're just trying to take profit up here above the open because they were able to capture that little short covering rally. If they're really trying to get in on the move. They're kind of stacking right below the open, kind of saying to me that if they get below the open, then they'll get out. But if they don't get below the open, then they just want to keep riding it up. Nasdaq looks kind of strong too. Right to the VWAP, selling mechanical right off the. The poor high here though Like TJ was saying, to sell off that VWAP, a poor high that gets put in here could cause some liquidation for sure. That could really spook some laggard longs that are getting long above the open. SMA. Alright, I'm still targeting that 46. One lot left. Stops at 30. Right here below our zone. Right where that weak volume is. That on the right side. Not a huge fan of that. I flattened out. Still above the open. Like I said, I think these buyers are trying to let this thing ride above the open. The breadth is basically cut in half from the open here. Look at the tick is, there's obviously buying. We're squaring up above zero here. Just mechanical selling off this 20 daily. Above the VWAP. Nasdaq's almost above its VWAP. We've got a downtrend up here. 3760. Those single prints are the target on the break of this 20 here. I'm looking for 46. Well, I was looking for 46. I'm not in the trade now. But I was looking for 46. And 46 is basically just like kind of right above those single prints here. Right below those single prints, excuse me. Shorts are stuck right here. You'd like to see a little bit stronger buying here during C periods. We've got shorts stuck here. Bit of a retest. $40 level. Offer's trying to come down on the 40. Right back down almost to the open here. This is where those bids were kind of sitting. They're still sitting there. Below the open, you could get a good liquid. Cooling here. Awaited AD. What this thing? Why is this thing? Oh, it shows the open from. All right, watch the 30. That's where those bids have been sitting this whole time. 30. We're tapping the open. C-low's right on the open, so mechanical C-low here. Tap, 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 tap. Knock, knock. There they go. This, oh, okay. So there's a little bit of a buyer there at 30. Okay, let's see how strong they are. See a little bounce at 30. That's where that buyer is kind of lurking. So they've been sitting and waiting patiently right below the open. If they get out of the way, we should get a decent liquidation. Twitter to see if we're getting any headlines out of the. $30. Did anybody win the lotto last night?
I used to love that show where they'd show how everybody lost their money after they won the lotto in a few
I don't,
years.
I don't think anyone won. I'm pretty sure it was, well, it looked like it. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it looked like it. No one won.
Not seeing much out of the.
I can't even get to the website. It gives me a gateway timeout. So evidently everybody's checking to make sure whether or not they want. Yeah, it says it grew to 1.5 billion there after there was no winner on Wednesday.
Okay.
Hey, I think this weekend is daylight savings, isn't it?
Yeah, Sunday.
I still haven't got my PA account. It's still on hold. I did it at 4 a.m. this morning, so 3.5 hours ago.
Yeah, Jared said he was having issues yesterday as well. Like his took like almost all day. So he didn't get it until like after the FOMC. So they might just be maybe having some personnel issues or something, like lagging it behind or something. So there was originally a seller this morning before the market opened on 35. And then right as the market opened, there was a seller coming in offer that 35, and now we're seeing that after that little pop above the VWAP and we're back below that 35, there's still a seller sitting here. So if this seller moves off, which they're not doing the greatest job because we know there's a buyer at 30, so we're kind of in this trap here, 35, 30. Above 35, we'll probably end up taking out the high again. You can see kind of a cliff forming here as the seller's really trying to hold the market down. See who moves first, the buyer on 30 or the seller on 35. Ooh, some big selling coming into tech there.
Apple is where it was about an hour ago. It actually started to go up a little bit, but then it dropped back down. It's right near 3.5. I think it got to like 3.2, maybe 3.1 down. But now it's 3.45, 3.44. Got a little bit of bounce. It actually popped into the 3.3 low threes range. But then it just dropped right back down. Oh, I guess it's climbing a little bit.
We gave that 35 up. X on board as well. Buyers here above the VWAP. Wrong tick. Nice tap of the 46 there. Let's see if we can get some continuation here. That 54 up above these single prints. Nasdaq trying to hold its VWAP, same as the ES here. Has anyone done any business with this odd ability capital? Is it called ability capital? No, it's called Audacity. Audacity. How to say? They're a Forex funded program. I really want to start trading Forex, but I don't want to trade my own. Those dudes are UK firm. Yeah, they're from the UK. Yeah, so watch for this 54 here. You get more short covering here. Like a gap fill day. Volume's getting thin up here though, that's for sure. Just be careful. You checked out Earn to trade? A lot of people have issues with Apex. Not really had any issues. Only issues I really had was with Ninja Trader. So it's 298 pounds to trade with them. Trend is up 37.59, which would be back into like the value of the overnight session. We should get, a little bit of longs taking profit that are trapped here in these single prints from the overnight session. Maybe some reoffers up here below. I mean, look, the breath is flipped positive. These positive. Every sector besides communications is positive. Tick has been holding fairly strongly above the 0 level here. Got a decent trend here moving off of the lows. You've heard good things about SMB. SMB Capital, I don't know if do they do a funded program? I think they're just education. I don't know if they're like a funded trader program or anything like that. I think they're just education. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. Apple's starting to get on board with the upside now as well. Yeah, they jumped up about 0.5% here. Oh, they're a prop firm? Oh, they do? Not for futures, though, for stocks. Yeah, T3 has told me that if show consistency, that you have the opportunity to get into some of these other markets. As long as we hold above this 46 here. 5. Yeah, I thought SMB kind of were awesome for their offices. Who's that, Dr. VJ? SMB? I don't really trade stocks though. It's just different, like I mean, trading is trading. Yeah, I would love to say that, but there's a lot more involvement. I feel like with stocks compared to um, fairly simple. For stocks, I feel like you almost need like a Bloomberg terminal or like need something. Um, it's gonna be
Plus, you really gotta know about the companies too, like their earnings and stuff like that.
yeah, you've got to yeah, you got it, but that's a thing that's nice about S&P is it looks like they train a lot of their traders, but I feel like you'd just be at such a disadvantage um, at S&B not being there. I'd love to go trade desk. Just the environment I think would be a cool experience. E3 is E3 is based out of New York City. I mean, they might have a yeah. That's a good book, TJ. Yeah, good book. Yeah, Mike Delafiere. Yeah, today. I mean, today is a kind of a tough day to trade, um, just because of the market's like down. So today or not today. This week, Monday and Tuesday. Not really yesterday. Yesterday was just kind of chaotic and uh, more or less just luck on my part. But Monday and Tuesday, we were able to identify the turn in the market both days, and the market was fairly slow for the most part. And so, this weekend, those are good reviews to go over if you have free time. Um, not necessarily like the commentary or anything like that, right? Because we're kind of just uh we're talking about the possibilities and stuff and kind of setting up the plays, but just to review how that turn came about and what happened and what was going on in the market during that time is just a good review to kind of add to your repertoire. So if you weren't live with us or you didn't get a chance to really kind of absorb that information because you were trading at the same time, and it's a lot harder to trade and absorb at the same time, then uh go ahead and rewatch those. I know I'm going to rewatch them this weekend for sure. Um, but they were good training opportunities and good learning opportunities, I think.
Are you able to review like the market, the book and the ticks and everything?
Yeah, because we recorded it. YouTube.
Oh, duh, sorry.
You could replay. I don't know if the ticks. I don't know if the ticks show up. But you can replay. Like through Thinkorswim, you can replay the market, and you can replay through Sierra charts as well. This high is last week's low. Oh yeah, right. They have a great video showing their ES traders building and exiting a 1200 contact trade from last year. Do you have the video? Post that. I'd like to watch that. Pretty interesting. We got 23 contracts traded on that high right there. The gap would close up here at the 66. The funded combines, they're different for every platform, so you'd really have to read the rules for each individual different rule. For Top Step, I'm not sure I've never participated in funded trading. Tops are lined up here. Starting to line up here. They're trying to defend these singles. If these singles get given up, we're going to close the gap, I think. D period opens up. We've got single prints below. We've got trap shorts below. We've got just a few trap shorts left above long from the Globex session. We've still got an hour until the London close here. The Russell's almost back to flat. Get AMD's up fucking 5%. Jesus. 20 offer in here. But unable to close those singles below. Looks like we're gonna go take these singles above. I'm looking for this 60 here. 58.60. That's our zone above. Seen rotations in the past. We saw some rotations there last night. We'll take this profile. You see some of these rotations here. So side point of control here. VPOC up above 64. So Offer coming in on the 50 once again. Getting some downticks here. There's some decent selling coming on. See if they try to close these singles. Pushing for window techies, which I'm not. Is there such a program to load so you can adjust volume on different apps like NinjaTrader, YouTube, Zoom, so everything is the same balance? One app is not louder than the other. I have no idea. A little break of this uptrend here. See if they close the singles. Let's see if they get a little bit of a liquidation back down to this 50 SMA. It's sitting right at the 20 daily as well. Hello? Okay. Good. It's good. Yeah, it's good. Bye. So the market's starting to slow down here a little bit. We've got a mechanical D high or D low, excuse me. I mean, it's right off the 20 daily. It's right off the VWAP, right off the C halfback. Decent odds that it doesn't hold. What's interesting though is that low there basically got absorbed. That low right on the 40 got absorbed. So
Went straight to that 50.
yeah, just like a liquidation and then a bounce right off of it. There's a lot of confluence right here, like around this level, this 4038 level. Nasdaq's pulling back off the highs right now as well. Some bids looking like they see how they trade. They're right at like the 41 to 40 here. Hold up, you get a little bit of buying support above that. You can see the offers just didn't move down again right there to sell through the VWAP right there. They just kind of popped down and then popped back up. So that D high is mechanical too. Now that now that we're off the highs a bit here, we've got to start thinking about what's not happening, right? We kind of got focused on the upside. We were looking for that gap fill. The gap didn't fill. We put in a poor high. You know, we're 10 handles off the high, 15 handles off the high, and we still have a gap that's failed to fill, right? The tick is still decent, but not as strong as it was on the move up, right? We're still one time framing up, but we've got to be, you know, patient, or not patient, I guess, but just aware of that, right? So we got in that kind of long mindset for a second. We were taking nice trades up to the upside, and now the steam is kind of slowing down here. We've got to remember that, right? And we got to understand that, you know, just because we caught some nice long trades doesn't mean the market's only going to keep going up. We still have overhead pressure on that gap. We're always trying to maintain that perspective. Selling trying to come in around this 39.40 level. Now we're back below that level. Right click on the sound icon at the bottom right. Here you can adjust the volume from there. These bids gonna step out of the way. Offers gonna fall through. They're really trying here, though. Look at the ticks here. Ticks are weak. The weighted versus the unweighted, or the weighted versus the unweighted way up here. The Volt is starting to cross back below zero. Breath is flipped back to red. Look at Tech starting to pick up some negative moves on the downside. Apple's back down to 3.5. Starting to get. All right, I'll start. So catch you later. As well, I'm tired.
Right back to the POC.
ECB says we're much closer to a neutral rate now. ECB says policy will become clear once inflation reaches its peak. That's kind of bearish on the market. That was 4 minutes ago. Meta will introduce NFT minting and trading to Instagram. trying to do everything they can to fucking die.
Hey, Brad, we get back up here around where the overnight singles were, maybe an E period, and fail to take out that D high. You think that might be a good spot to look for like a fade back down? Or are
I
you
mean,
still leaning more upside?
if the market, yeah, if the market pops back up here and we stay negative, like we just kind of get a little short covering, but if we start to flip green again, then that kind of takes it off, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Because I just really want this um as much as I would like to catch a nice fade, I'd wait till right here. Wait till this point of control, because there should be some shorts here. There should be some mechanical shorts here at the low, and you could probably catch a decent fade from there. And if it shakes out longs, because longs are looking kind of weak here. So if we do get a nice little rally, we don't see too much strength, even some green here, but not too much strength, and we see some selling coming in, there could be a fade from there. Even on a gap fill, that's kind of where I'm looking for the fade. Like I'm looking for the gap to fill, and then I'm looking for the fade.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a tough out here.
I almost shorted the poor high, but I almost did it twice actually. I figured I would wait since at that time everything was still pointing a little green. But I like when it fails right at the singles like that, I kind of look at it as it defended the level still until it like at least gets a couple ticks past it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, like they didn't have enough. There wasn't enough buying to fill the singles.
Yeah, yeah.
That,
So
that
poor
tells
high right in the singles.
right, which tells you sellers or buyers are weak because they're selling their positions up at the top, and we only traded 14 contracts on the high. 30, 40, 40 contracts.
Yeah, the RSI too. Like when we were getting right there, it was just like making a straight 45-degree angle, bearish divergence. But I just didn't trust it yet. It's also harder when everybody else is doing the opposite of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to stay as quiet as possible too, because like I know I don't want to influence you guys just because I was getting long, like that the short's not available. Because I was
Yeah, I mean,
basically
I like it when you call your stuff out. I mean, it helps give me confluence or at least know like, okay, maybe the trade I'm going for is a little riskier, or whatever.
yeah. EU studying ways to use billions in Russian central banks. Morgan Stanley to start layoffs from next week. Goldman Sachs maintains forecast of 115 billion for Brent next quarter. We did trading teaches you more about yourself than any 9 to 5 job. You're looking to short that 57 quarter area. Yeah, the market just got weak. Like, I mean, that's all I say. Like, you gotta maintain that perspective. You know, we're almost 25, well, 20 points off the high here. You know, back kind of right down into the middle of balance. And on a day where we can't fill a gap, that's, you know, that's weakness for sure. Buyers defend that 38 level again here. We've ticked below it a little bit, but really that 38 level, we've seen them kind of pop it back up every single time. Let's see if we get selling again off this 44, 45 there. The ECB is really putting out some kind of mixed information here. Saying shallow recessions very difficult to engineer. Saying like they're close to a neutral rate. Yeah, and that's something I don't. Yeah, I definitely don't want that. And that's one thing that made me so hesitant to even talk about the trades that I'm looking for is people just blindly following me. But you know, with you guys, like I like we've built, you know, good like trust and camaraderie. Like I don't have to worry about that. The YouTube, you know, it's not financial advice. Who knows what they're up to? I think I'm gonna call this one early, guys. We've got about 2 minutes until E period opens up, so we'll see if we get any good movement out of E period right off the bat. But what it looks like for me, really, we've just got, you know, some trapped longs sitting just above this B high. We've got this poor high forming, letting us know there's not really any initiative buying here. Even though all of the buying here is responsive, it's just that they're being patient. And that 27 level was the level that we were watching earlier. You could see shorts tried to, I mean, this is from this morning 25, but some shorts tried to get busy here around this 30, 27 level, got stuck. The market did squeeze up for a little bit. So this 27 level is where that bid was kind of sitting at. And that's kind of where I'm seeing, we're waiting to see if we get an auction down here to this 27. Break of that C low would give us a cessation of one time framing and start increasing the odds. A break of 25 that we start, you know, looking down below the, you know, repair some of this weak structure down here at the lows. We do have good excess, and not a ton of volume came in, so we can assume that these shorts probably covered already, or probably got covered. They probably got squeezed already. So if there is more volume that comes in under the 25, we can assume it's new shorts coming in. Look for our sectors to start turning red. Look for the breadth to get a little bit higher. Remember, we opened up about 3.5 on the NYSE, about 2.5 on the Nasdaq, 2.79 on the Nasdaq. Look for them to try to push those lows. The tick down here below 600. There goes E period. Right below. We'll kind of see what they give us here, but that's pretty much it. I think Apple will be a big driver today, right? Apple's been just getting the old smackarooski here and see. But definitely, if you have the opportunity or if you have the ability, peek at Apple throughout the day and watch this 140 level. Even set an alert here. Set that alert, and if Apple gets above 140, there's some possible upside, maybe to come as these shorts start to cover underneath of the 140. They've kind of got what they've came for, and that's that zero gamma. Actually, zero gamma's at 145. No, it's 140. Yeah, that's kind of our put wall here. If Apple starts to hang out below 140 for an extended period of time, you're going to start to see some selling come into Apple as market makers have to hedge underneath this 140. Apple being the biggest mover of the market, down 3.67 as we're speaking right now, can really start putting more pressure on the market and then start causing liquidations in other spots as well to kind of catch up to Apple and bring the market lower. So definitely want to be cognizant of that and paying attention. But other than that, make sure that you guys are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. And I will catch you guys tomorrow.